Yeah, I mean, it is a different team that we've brought this time round. We're expecting the surfaces to be probably slightly different, and we're quite open-minded about what to expect. But ultimately, it gives opportunity to some of the other guys to show what they're capable of. Got some young guys that have probably not played much cricket in these conditions before, so these warm-up games are going to be vitally important for us, making sure we get as much out of them as possible, and take as much of those learnings into the games. But when the guys have played, they've generally put their hands up and they've put in some strong performances, so they'll be full of confidence and ready to show everyone what they can do out here. It's very hot. We found that out last game. We found that out today in training, and we expect it to get hotter. So all you can do is make sure you prepare as best you can, get used to it, spend time out there in the middle, hydrate well, and do all the things you can to make sure that things don't affect the way you perform. But again, that'll be part of the strategy, making sure that guys aren't overexerting themselves and they can make a real impact when they get a chance to affect the game. In terms of precautions, we're just doing as we're told. We've been told try and avoid certain situations and avoid hand contact and unnecessary contact when possible. So, which is against our nature as a team. We quite like to socialise and interact with fans and take selfies, autographs and stuff. But if it means that we can't do that on this trip, then so be it. We have to do what we have to do to make sure that we're looking after ourselves as a team and this series. And I don't think the guys are worried about it. I mean, there's not really much we can do apart from prepare well for this series. And if things get taken out of our hands further down the line, then so be it. But ultimately, we're here to play cricket. We're very much looking forward to tomorrow and the rest of the tour. And until otherwise told, we'll continue to keep enjoying what's a great tour. I think for us, building towards that Test Championship final would be a huge achievement. Obviously, if you get to that final, you're pretty close to being number one in the world anyway. And that's set up to be a very big occasion at Lord's, the first of its kind, and it's something that we're aiming for as a team. We obviously are always judged on how well we do in the Ashes as well. So there's a long process in making sure that we're always trying to peak for going over to Australia and trying to win over there. But ultimately, if you're playing good cricket for long periods of time, you're adapting to different conditions, different surfaces, and different parts of the world, then you're going to become a better team long term, and that's a big focus for us, is trying to get some consistency in how we want to go about playing our cricket, similarly with the guys that we're going to be selecting, and give them the real opportunity to long term take this team up the rankings and hopefully play in those big moments, those big series, those big games that really matter. Well, I think last time we came at a different time of year for starters. It was a lot wetter. There was a lot more thunderstorms around. It was just after the monsoon season, I think. And I'm sure Mickey and Dimith will want to put their own stamp on things and play cricket differently. I know that they were very extreme conditions last time round, and I felt that we found a very good way of exploiting that, and that probably suited some of the guys that we had on that tour and the way they played their cricket. And I think it's important to have an open mind coming into this series. If we just went in and expected it to be exactly the same, then we could find ourselves getting unstuck. And I think it's really important that we play what's right in front of us. We respect the surface, the opposition. I'm sure these two guys will want to put their stamp on their team and have their way of taking it forward. And we know there's some very talented players in there. So it's really important that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. We don't have too many preconceived ideas, but we have got the knowledge and the know-how if we find ourselves in similar situations and circumstances that we did last time we played here. Who knows? All we can do is prepare as well as we can. Look at tomorrow, make sure we play and play that game as best we can, get as much out of those 4 days, and be absolutely ready for Galle. And if it gets taken out of our hands, then so be it. But ultimately, we're here to play Test cricket. We're here to play this series, and very much looking forward to it. So until told otherwise, we'll just focus on that.
March Madness 2020. Royal versus St. Thomas. The 141st Battle of the Blues encounter. on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of March from 9 a.m. onwards. Live on Dialogue Television, Channel 1, Dialogue My TV, and ThePapare.com.